All right, folks, take a look at your screen. We did the DK Sportsbook angle of Game 6 of the NBA Finals earlier in this show, so go ahead and rewind if you want to catch some of the best bets for tonight. Right now, we're going to do top DFS plays. We do have Matt Meiselman here, but on your screen, you can see some of the top performers, their costs, what they will cost you tonight in the showdown. So not a shocker here to see the two best players on both of these teams are the highest priced in the captain column, in the utility column, and Curry and Tatum. Curry averaging, the only player averaging north of 50 DK fantasy points per game in the NBA Finals through 5 games. Jason Tatum, despite having a few bad games, still averaging 47 points. Got to give it up for him. Matty Ice, we asked Nick Whalen, we asked Chinmay Vaidya earlier in this show, what needs to be the game plan for the Celtics tonight in order to force a Game 7? What do you think here, Green Teamer?
The part of me that's more frustrated just wants to give the answer of, like, just score more points than the other team.
Yeah, you can't do that. Sound like an analyst for once, you coward.
All right. All right, I'll give a real answer. Honestly, I think if they just played defense the way they played Game 5, they win this game. Because the defense was so good, and the offense was just all over the place. And really, like, there's no way their offense is going to be that bad again. So I guess one answer would be just repeat the game again, but don't make as many mistakes. And then really, like, to get a little more specific, if they can just take advantage of mismatches, because the amount of times that they didn't realize Gary Payton II was the primary defender, and specifically Jaylen Brown drove right into him and lost the ball. Like, I have to imagine that they went to the tape and saw that, and it's like, just go after Curry, go after Clay, go after Poole. So really, I guess offensively, the key to me would just be to take advantage of the weaker defenders and stop trying to score on Gary Payton. He's too good defensively.
How nervous are you that Wiggins is going to go off again?
I am not so nervous about that. I'm nervous about the Celtics offense, really.
Okay.
Like that's what's giving me the most concern right now. I think Wiggins will probably play well again, but that's not my main source of worry. There are a lot of reasons to be worried about this series right now. So, Wiggins is in the top 5 reasons, I guess, but it's not number 1.
All right, you're a little nervous about the Celtics offense, you just said. So are you not going to go with a Celtics for your captain's pick tonight?
No, I still think I will, and a lot of this just has to do with the price. Like, Curry is way more expensive than – he's actually more expensive than Tatum.
Yeah,
I think
$600.
This series, Tatum had been more expensive earlier on, but I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown, who's just a lot cheaper than these two guys, and I think that Brown will have a better game. I think they will try to get Brown isolated more onto Curry and onto Klay Thompson, and he should be able to continue to take advantage of that matchup. But this is mostly a price thing. Like, it's really hard. There just aren't cheap players in this game throughout the series where you can play Tatum and Curry at captain and not have to jam in like a couple players who you just wouldn't want to have to play. So playing Brown at captain gets you the savings. That's really the biggest reason that I like him here, because I do think Brown, Curry, and Tatum all have a ton of upside, but Brown gets you a lot of savings. So I think he makes more sense as the captain play.
All right, so then who do you need in your lineup with him?
So I like Marcus Smart here, and I'm a little worried that too many people are going to be on him because there's this idea that Smart is way better in home games. So that's not actually why I'm going with him, but I do think, I think ultimately he should be more contrarian than Wiggins, who's coming off the huge game, and I think that factor overrides the factor of Smart potentially getting an ownership bump for the game being in Boston. But Smart's just a little more expensive than the other guys in this mid-tier, like Draymond Green also, like Wiggins, who I just mentioned. So I just think the ownership on Smart is lower than most of the guys around his price. And he's been a pretty good fantasy player throughout the playoffs. Like, I just think that he can have a big upside at this price, but it's more about the ownership for me than anything else. I think Smart just makes the most sense given that consideration.
All right, because I'm looking at their numbers now, and like Wiggins is just $200 more than Marcus Smart, and he's averaging 7 points more a game. And not to mention a double-double in 2 straight games. And if you want to just look at his past 3 games alone, Wiggins is averaging nearly 45 fantasy points an outing.
Yeah, so more people are going to play Wiggins. After hearing that, whatever people want to say about Smart being like having a home road split, I guess I don't really care about that too much. But yes, Andrew Wiggins is going to be a very popular DFS play tonight. So I guess Marcus Smart is really just a pivot off of Andrew Wiggins.
All right. Little contrarian mindset then. You're just going with less popular pick. Obviously, you stand out more in some of these big-time contests. You separate yourself from the pack that way. I like your thinking, Matty. That's why I love talking to you. Is there anyone you're going to fade tonight? Is there anyone you're like, I got to proceed with caution, or people should proceed with caution if they're going to consider rostering him?
Yeah, so I'll go a little. I know the contrarian moves are fun. I'm going to fade someone who I actually don't think will be that popular, and I just think he's way too expensive. And that's Jordan Poole, who's $5,800. He played 14 minutes last game, and he was good in those 14 minutes, but I think the Warriors are realizing Wiggins needs to be out there. His defense is too important. I guess his everything is too important. He's just been really good for them. And Peyton's defense has been so big for them in this series. And I guess he was hurt early in the series. He missed game 1. Peyton's minutes have ramped up throughout, though, and it's come at the expense of Jordan Poole. So when Curry's on the court and Klay Thompson's on the court, and both of those guys are playing big minutes too, they just don't need Jordan Poole to play that much. Like, he's essentially functioning as Steph Curry's backup right now. So if the Celtics, I mean, hopefully we get like a Celtics blowout, and then I'm wrong about this take because Poole plays garbage time. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. But in reality, this is likely to be a close game, and I don't think Poole is going to play a ton of minutes because there are just other guys on the team who are more important than him.
Yeah, he rewarded DFS players with 15 fantasy points, which was surprising last time out, which was surprisingly his second lowest fantasy performance of the NBA Finals. So you just said you're hoping for a Celtics blowout. I need to just get a straight up pick from you. Who wins tonight? And just go ahead and just tell me why you're going with the Celtics.
Okay, I am going with the Celtics. I don't like, my gut feeling is that they're going to lose, honestly. But that's just nerves. Gut feelings don't matter.
Yeah, you're just setting yourself up for, like, if you expect to be disappointed and have your heart broken, like when it happens, you expected it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly right. But the numbers suggest, just like based on how I've looked at the entire season and how the Celtics have played throughout the playoffs, I still think strength of schedule throughout the playoffs strongly favors them. And all of that adds up to me to just make the Celtics the better team. And they're at home. So, like, they should win this game as long as they don't screw up too bad. I do think they win this game. I don't know if I'm going to pick them in Game 7 or not, but I think that gut feeling is it's bad, but I think they should win the game.